Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 15 best cars that you could buy for less than $8,000. This is the next part of our 1K to 100K budget cars series, where we're going to be giving you 15 cars under every price range. We obviously started with 1K, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now today, obviously, we're going to be doing the top 15 best cars that you could buy for less than $8,000, and after that, we will be 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, and then $100,000 to finish off the list. But the gimmick amongst all these videos is that in every single one of the videos, there is going to be 0 duplicates. That way you can watch all the videos and get a bunch of different options for whatever price range that you have. Okay. Then yeah, obviously last episode was on the 7K, so today is $8,000. Media of the day is Driver San Francisco. Great racing game from back in the day, man. I remember this game was peak, man. I haven't played it since probably like 2015, maybe 2014, around then. But it was so good back in the day, dude. I wish I could play it again, but unfortunately I don't have like a PS3 or nothing anymore. But man, that was a special game. So go play it if you have a way of playing it. But without further ado, guys, get right into it. It was the top 15 best cars under $8,000 for car guys. Obviously, keep that in mind. Obviously, these are for cars these are for guys that enjoy cars. And yeah, coming in at number 15 spot is a perfect example of that because it's a Chevy Corvette, specifically the C3 Corvette. On the under $7,000 video, I recommended the C4 Corvette, and now today we're going to be doing the C3. I love the C3 Corvettes. I think they look absolutely incredible, but they're definitely one of the cheapest ones out there and one of the more unappreciated ones out there because of their horsepower numbers. They come with a 5-liter V8 making 180 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, it is worth mentioning, just like the C4 Corvette, as a matter of fact, and just about any car in the 80s and 70s, this horsepower number jumps and changes depending on which year that you actually end up buying. So just do some research when you do actually go to buy a C3 Corvette. Look up which ones it is that you're actually looking at, the year it is that you're looking at, so you can know exactly how much horsepower you're actually getting, because again, the horsepower numbers change every single year. The car was built during the gas crisis, but nonetheless, it is a really cool car. It's just really old at this point, and it's only a 2-seater, so I can't like put it anywhere higher than 15th place. It's not that practical, but it is a really cool one. And coming in at the number 14 spot, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be going to the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 7th generation. Now, it's the 7th generation of the Galant, but it is not actually the 7th generation of the VR4 trim of the Galant. I believe there was only 2 trims of the 2 generations with the VR4 trim, I should say. Nonetheless, this is the newest one, and it comes with a 2.5-liter twin turbocharged V6 making 276 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive, although it is worth mentioning that 276 horsepower is the horsepower number that they agreed upon with the gentleman's agreement. So there's a good chance that this car actually makes more than 276 horsepower. It's absolutely insane how fast and cool these cars are. They're literally pocket Evos, except they don't have a 4G63, and yet no one cares anymore. No one talks about the VR4 Galants, which is, in my opinion, insane. And coming in at 13th place, listen, I know that the reason why the Galant is a little bit low is for a couple of reasons. One, it's actually not the most reliable car, and 2, it's like pretty much damn near impossible to even find one of them for sale nowadays. 13th place is a Jaguar XJS. Super cool car, one of the coolest cars on today's list for sure, but unfortunately its reliability is very, very scary to say the least. They come with a 4-liter inline 6 making 245 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, for those wondering, yes, the XJS did come with a V12. It's commonly known for the fact that it came with the V12, but unfortunately you're not finding a V12 under $8,000, especially not in America. Maybe in the UK you could find one under 8K, but for Americans, definitely not. So you are going to be stuck with a straight 6, but actually I've heard that it's kind of more reliable, so maybe that's a better thing. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Nonetheless, the car is super cool. It just has so many problems. Coming in at 12th place is actually like kind of the XJS's main rival, if you really think about it. The BMW 635 CSI E24. I've gone on record multiple times saying that I am a massive E24 6 Series fan. I think it's one of my top 3 favorite BMWs ever created for sure. I just love how they look. But they, again, just like the XJS, they're just so old and European that it's sketchy. They come with a 3.5-liter inline 6, making 182 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Again, yeah, like I said, these cars were built in the 80s, dude. They're 40 years old at this point, which is just insane. They are really cool, obviously, really good-looking cars, and they're actually pretty decently quick, too. I mean, 182 horsepower, that's not great or anything, but it's definitely not bad either, and it's also like a luxurious car. The interior is just so, like, classic 80s, man. I love them. And coming in at the number 11 spot is definitely one of the coolest looking cars on today's list, just coolest cars overall on today's list, but is also one of the most unreliable cars on today's list, the Mazda RX-7 FC. FC RX-7s are awesome. Pop-up headlights, They're the rear-wheel drive, cool looking. Everything about them's cool. And then they just have a rotary, which just makes it just so hard to maintain. They come with a 1.3 liter 2-rotor rotary engine, making 165 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. Again, really cool package there. 165 horsepower isn't crazy, but the car is pretty lightweight, so you can have a lot of fun. The chassis is really good, actually, is what I'm trying to say. But the motor is just, it's just a ticking time bomb, man. They're just so unreliable. And then people are going to be like, oh, they're high maintenance. Yeah, but they were high maintenance when they came out, but they're 40 years old at this point. So no, they're not high maintenance anymore. There's no amount of maintenance you could do to save them at this point. Unfortunately, they're just waiting to blow up. They're good for motor swaps, though, and they're really cool looking. Coming in at 10th place, however, pretty damn good all around. A little bit underpowered, I guess, and it is, again, another older car. The Chevrolet Camaro Z28, 3rd generation. My dad has actually a couple of these. He loves the 3rd gen Camaros, and I do too. I think they're really cool looking cars. I actually think they're really underrated, slept on Camaros. Like, these are really cool looking things. They come with a 5-liter V8 making 170 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. Now again, just like the C3 Corvette we talked about earlier, these cars were made during the 80s. They were made during the gas crisis, so every single year of the 3rd gen Camaro has different horsepower numbers. So whichever year that you're actually looking at buying, make sure you do your research and know how much horsepower you're actually getting. Nonetheless, the car is awesome. It's a rear wheel drive, small block V8 Chevy. Like, it's going to be a sick car. I love how it looks, but again, they are 40-year-old cars now. At this point, they're going to have some hidden issues, which is so I can't recommend it any higher than 10th, but they are really cool. And hey, coming in at 9th place, ladies and gents, we gotta make the off-road boys happy. We gotta make our blue-collar boys happy. All right, coming in at 9th place is the Dodge Ram 1500 3rd generation. I've heard some people arguing about whether or not the 3rd gen Rams are reliable. But I feel like with every single big full-size truck, there's always going to be somebody that's like, that transmission's unreliable. Either way, the 3rd gen 1500 Ram, it comes with a 5.7 liter V8 making 345 horsepower, and it is 4x4. Obviously, that horsepower number is one of the highest on the list, but also the truck is obviously the heaviest car on the list, so it balances out there. It's a working vehicle, but it's also extremely practical, obviously, since it has all the space in it. It's off the ground. You can go wherever you want to take it. I love how the 3rd gen Rams look. Overall, they're just really, really good trucks through and through. Again, there have been people online saying that the transmissions have issues, but I'm pretty sure you can find somebody saying that online with every single full-size truck. So, coming in at 8th place, though, plain and simply, through and through, just a full-blown sports car. And the fact that it's under 8K is actually really surprising. The Porsche Boxster 986. Now, the reason why it's under 8K is literally, and I mean literally, just because the Cayman is slightly better. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why the Boxster is under 8K. It's insane. The car comes with a 2.5 liter flat 6, making 201 horsepower. Sorry for that noise. And it is rear-wheel drive. And yeah, for those who don't know, the Boxsters are the exact same things as the Caymans. They're just convertible versions of them. So this is a Porsche Cayman 1st gen, or 986 Porsche Cayman convertible. That's all it is. I mean, good grief. You know what I mean? Good grief. That it's just for under $8,000. I get it. I don't like the looks of the Boxster either. I think it looks really, really weird and just not right. I'm not a big fan of the looks either. But you're still getting Porsche handling, Porsche reliability, Porsche performance, really, in a car under 8K. It's awesome. Coming in at 7th place from one absolute driver's car to another absolute driver's car is going to be going to the Toyota MR2 SW20. Now, it is immediately worth mentioning that the SW20 MR2s are damn near impossible to find for sale in the first place. There's just like 10 of them, I'm pretty sure, in the entire United States of America. Like, they're just never for sale for some reason. I don't get it. But when you do, if you're patient enough, you can find them under 8K. They come with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. These are 90s cars, so again, they're 30 years old at this point. They don't have a lot of space. They're not the most practical cars out there. They're mid-engine and rear-wheel drive. They experience snap-overs here. There are definitely problems with the SW20 MR2, but one problem that you can't say is the reliability. It's a Toyota motor at the end of the day, so it's going to be reliable as hell, and it's going to be a fun car to drive to, as long as you take it slow and careful at first so you don't die to the snap-over steer. Everything else about the car is really cool. And coming in at 6th place. 6th. I hate that word. I still hate this. I hated that word when I started this channel in 2020, and I hate that word still to this day. The Audi A5 B8. You know a car is good on the Mark Roden recommendation channel when Mark Roden himself has looked at purchasing them, and that is the case with the A5 B8, because it's just such a, oh man, they just look so gorgeous. They come with a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 210 horsepower, and they are all-wheel drive. They also do come with a 3.2 liter V6. Makes a little bit more horsepower, but it's harder to make power off that motor than it is with the turbo. Nonetheless, it's the same motor and horsepower as the Mark 6 GTIs, except now it's all-wheel drive, and in my opinion, a much better looking body. As a matter of fact, I've gone on record on my channel stating that I think the Audi A5 B8 is Audi's best looking car ever created, besides the R8. Like, obviously the R8 is incredibly gorgeous, but besides that, I'm not kidding when I say this, the B8 A5s or S5s or RS5s, whatever you want to call them, are, in my opinion, the most beautiful Audi ever built. They're just works of art, really. And coming in at the beautiful number 5 spot, we just recommended the Blob Eye in the 7K video, and now today it is the Subaru WRX Hawkeye. They're a little bit more expensive than the Blob Eyes, and in my honest opinion, well, totally biased actually here, I would actually prefer the Blob Eyes, but the Hawkeye is overall just a better car. It just looks different, and I like the looks of the Blob Eye better. The car comes with a 2-liter turbocharged flat 4, making 225 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. They're obviously really lightweight little rally monsters, tuner monsters. They obviously have the head gasket issues, and yeah, you got to watch out for those. 100% people have talked about them. But if you're careful enough, if you know what you're doing, these cars are going to be so much fun. They really are. They're just such a cool budget tuner option in the big 2.6, man. They always have been and always will be. They're definitely rising in price, but they're still really cool. And coming in at 4th place, like I said, you gotta make the off-road boys happy. Although this one might not make the off-road boys happy, because for some reason people have been hating on this company as of lately. And these are kind of more modern Jeeps. But the Jeep Wrangler JK. Yeah, the JK Wranglers, I don't know. People just don't like them, I guess, anymore. I think it's just the owners that draw people away from them. Nonetheless, the Jeep comes with a 3.8-liter V6, making 202 horsepower, and they are, of course, a 4x4 because they're a Jeep. And they do their job, man. They do their damn job. Like, again, I know people might not like the new Wrangler owners or whatever with the rubber duckies on their dashboard. I don't know what's going on with the community there, but the trucks themselves, like SUVs, whatever you want to call them, themselves, they are off-road monsters still. Like, that's what they like to do. Like, yeah, they experience some horribly scary death wobble at 60 miles per hour on the highway, but that's because they're trying to go off-road. It's like taking the McLaren F1 off-road. It doesn't make any sense. Coming in at 3rd place, however, y'all already know I've recommended this car to you guys hand over fist because I just love them so much, and as long as they're under $10,000, I think they're going to be an absolute bargain. The Volvo S60Rs, the first generation S60Rs, I believe they did make a 2nd gen S60R at this point, but nonetheless, yeah, the first gen, the cool one, the one that's awesome. This car is like a direct competitor to the WRX, and to be honest with you, it's kind of just better. The car comes with a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline 5, making 300 horsepower on the dot, and it is all-wheel drive. That's way more horsepower than oh my god. Than the WRX, while also being just around the same weight and more reliable, actually. Yeah, Volvos are reliable as hell, and it's safer because that's like Volvo's whole thing. I will be the first to admit, I think the Hawkeye and the Blob Eye and the Blob Eye, they look better. I think the WRX looks better for sure, and it obviously has a little bit more aura behind it, but the S60R is just such a good bargain. And coming in at 2nd place, the second best car you could buy for less than $8,000, in my opinion, in the big 2.6 is the BMW 135i. I mean, they're just so cool. They really are. I think my thing with the 135i is I think there's just such a good car in every single measurable factor, but I've never been the biggest fan of the looks of them. Nonetheless, the car comes with a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6, making 300 horsepower on the dot, and they are rear-wheel drive. That motor is the N54, the same motor they were putting in the wonderfully iconic and extremely popular to modify car right now, 335i's. The 335i E92s are like one of the most popular cars in the car community right now to modify, and this is just a lighter weight version of that with a smaller wheelbase. It's insane. Like, it's insane how underrated the 135i is. They are still a little expensive because there's not as many of them out there as the 335i's are, but man, they're a good option. But first place, and in my opinion, the best budget car, sports car, cool car, whatever you want to call it, for less than $8,000 in the big 2.6 4-car, guys, is the Honda Civic SI 8th generation. Y'all know already how much of an 8th gen Civic fan I am, and the SI trim is obviously just better than even better. They come with a 2-liter inline 4, making 197 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive. That motor is indeed a K series, the same motor they were putting in the RSXs, same motor they were putting in the 7th generation Accords. That is pretty much, for those who don't know, extremely reliable, obviously, because it's a Honda inline 4, naturally aspirated. Obviously, it's going to be reliable as hell, but also extremely good at building power. So whether you just want the car to be a little bit of fun, bone stock, and just be able to have a little bit of fun on your drive home from work, or if you want to turn it into a full-blown race car, this car has everything you could possibly need to get it there. Yes, it's front-wheel drive, which I guess is the only real downside to the car, but everything else about it is just such a good deal for under $8K in 2026. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video on the top 15 best cars that you could buy for less than $8,000 in 2026. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what reviews I'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo, and thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow's video is going to be on how to build the perfect Oh, Ford Focus Mark III. So the like Ford Focus STs, the more like popular ones right now in the car community. I know they're onto the Mark IV right now. The Mark I is like the SVT, the one that was in like Need for Speed Underground. That's the Mark I. The Mark II is, see, I don't know how to really describe it. That's the one that's the first one to do the Ford Focus RS trim. Wait, no, that's not true either, because the Mark I also had a Ford Focus RS. There's 4 generations. It's the one that was in like 2016. That's what we're doing it on tomorrow, is how to build the Ford Focus Mark III, that car. Then after that, we will be doing, obviously, the under 9K video for the 1K to 100K series. And then after that, the next how to build. That's how we're doing it on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's been going good so far. You guys seem to be enjoying it. I enjoy making them, so we're going to keep going on with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen? All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.